Welcome into the Jordy Culotta Show. Wave your hand out there, baby!
Shout out to the show.
She puts the pinky into the nostril. Man, look at that.
Healthy competition, there's nothing like it.
Y'all grow up.
The line's wrapped around the stadium.
Different strengths. I just lost a tooth.
It's going to be fun.
You know, we might have a story.
I love what you're doing.
Ogeron wants to take us fishing this afternoon.
Sharif, you play for the bad boys of the SEC, man. We don't apologize to anybody.
A lot of people are saying you're going to be wearing number 7.
I don't really know. I want to. He look crazy, Bill.
Good feet on the old man.
This is some back.
We'll be right back with the Jordy Culotta Show. Welcome in to the Jordy Culotta Show, driven and powered by Go Chevrolet, live here on this Tuesday morning. Welcome in. We appreciate you being here, starting your day here with us. Make sure to hit that like button, share button, comment button, as we'll be with you until 9 a.m. We'll talk to Billy Embody from 1-3 Sports coming up here at 8 a.m. this morning. We'll get Billy's thoughts on the week ahead. Napier, Kelly Bowl 1, as we'll be watching down in Gainesville this Saturday from the Swamp, LSU and Florida. They also announced the time for the LSU Ole Miss game, which will be coming up next Saturday inside Tiger Stadium. Lots to get to with reaction to Brian Kelly's press conference yesterday as he was speaking a little bit of recapping the weekend and looking towards this Gator matchup as Coach Kelly will make his first trip to the Swamp, representing LSU as the head coach. Remember, daily, we're brought to you by Go Chevrolet, online GEAUX, Chevrolet.com. All of your inventory you can find right there. They've got a used car lot right here in Baton Rouge at Go Express Auto Sales, and then, of course, over in LaPlace with brand new cars at Go Chevrolet. Everything online, GEAUX, Chevrolet.com. Metropolitan Health Group is bringing you our phone line today. As we said, we'll talk to Embody coming up here 8 a.m. this morning. Real doctors, real solutions from our friends over there at Metropolitan Health Group. I was in the room yesterday when Brian Kelly was addressing the media, and Brody Miller, in true just professional fashion, Brody grabs the mic. I believe he was either the first or second question off the top. He asks statuses on Will Campbell, Garrett Dellinger, and then slides in a third question to BK as he's kind of sliding out of the microphone and says, and then about Harold Perkins, Coach, why didn't he play as much? And BK even recognized, like, wow, that was pretty impressive media work right there.
I have to answer
young
this.
Brody, of sliding 3 very important questions into about a 15-second window of question asking. And as he went down the line, he checked off all of the questions. First, by updating the status of Will Campbell and saying that Campbell is trending in a positive direction. I think that there was some concern around Will Campbell and just how severe was Friday. Speaking with some people that were there on Friday night, that was a very traumatic experience for a lot of people, seeing obviously EMS come into Tiger Stadium and take Will Campbell away in the state that he was in. We've reported that it sounded like he had a seizure in there on Friday, and a lot of people witnessed that. That was within about a 12-hour window before kickoff. You can't imagine. I can't imagine what it was like getting back on the bus, going to the hotel, going back to your room, and trying to fall asleep after witnessing your teammate, go through something like that. And also, a teammate that means a lot to the game plan. I mean, I don't know if Will Campbell has missed. I don't know if he's missed a practice this season. I don't know if he's missed a rep. I mean, he may have, but I mean, it feels like he's taken definitely the majority of the left tackle reps throughout training camp, weekly preparation, and obviously all of the games. So that was a major part of just going into Saturday, what the mood of the team was. He also updated the status of Garrett Dellinger, saying that Garrett has a second-degree MCL, so he'll be lost for this week ahead and most likely the next week's matchup versus Ole Miss. Kelly saying, we're really thinking it's probably a 2-week injury for Garrett Dellinger. The quote from Kelly on Campbell was, good news on Will Campbell. He had major tests this morning, speaking of yesterday, that he passed. He's going to be released here in the next hour or so. We've got one more hurdle. We think if we pass that, which we're confident, we will see what happens. Things are trending in a really positive direction for Will, so we're really pleased. First and foremost, just from the human element of it, right? Like, that's great news. Will Campbell, the young man, seems to be trending in the right direction as far as health goes. And, obviously I think, beyond all of the Saturdays in Tiger Stadium and LSU football and trying to find the storylines, that's the most concerning part. What's the status of the human being? And it feels like Will Campbell is headed in the right direction. Even if he's cleared, passes all the tests, there's no way I would expect him to go this week versus Florida. I would be just floored.
Really?
No, I don't think that he's going to play. And I from what I've just the feedback that I've gotten, I don't think that they expect him to play. And I wonder who you will see at left tackle. We haven't heard from Cam Wire in a while. They lost their entire left side of their line of scrimmage. Within losing Will Campbell, and then late in the first quarter, Dellinger goes down and he's done for the game. And you got to replace him, and you do it with a couple of guys. Xavier Hill was out there. Tremont Shorts was out there. Obviously Anthony Bradford got the start at left tackle, which is kind of a sign of his versatility. He's played a lot of spots this season, but looked a little out of place. This will be the sixth offensive line that LSU has started in 6 games, right?
Sound familiar?
It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
6.
Yeah, in 6 games they've started 6 different combinations of offensive line. That's a tough.
They've only done the same combination in back-to-back games once this year.
Yeah, and they got out of it quick.
Yep.
Right. So it's just that's a very tough spot to be a revolving door, because it's so much built on chemistry and playing alongside one another and building up the trust and knowing the reps and understanding what the other one's going to do. And when you've got somebody new next to you each week, there's some growing pains to that. There's some things that you have to go through and kind of figure out. And to do that on the road in the swamp against a good offensive line is a tough task. Or against a good defensive line is a tough task for LSU. It's a hell of a draw. So you'll wait and see what they do at offensive line. I don't know how. They've tried a lot. I don't know who. That they can't go into free agency. They can't go make a trade. You can't go upgrade any personnel that you have right now. So you got to go fight with what you got, and it'll be interesting to see, what he comes up with. And then it got to Harold Perkins, right? Brody kind of snuck in that last question while he was asking, and he got a lot of information off of a little bit of mic time. So you get an update on Dellinger, you get an update on Campbell, and then he gives you an answer on Harold Perkins, which I really was going into the press conference hoping that this was not going to be the answer about Harold Perkins. I was really, and not for Perkins' sake, and nothing against the kid. I don't know him. I've never met him. He seems like a fantastic football player. He seems like he's got a ton of swag, and he seems like if I did know him, I'd love him. But
my son,
I don't know him, and I was hoping that he was in trouble. Just full disclosure. I was hoping that he would tell me that, yeah, he got into a little bit of trouble and we had to kind of
In-house.
bench him for the first part of the game. They're like, whew, okay. So thank God that nobody in the coach's offices was coming up with a plan that schematically was going to keep Perkins off the field. So to go back to yesterday, Brody's last question, Harold Perkins, why did he play as much as he did on Saturday, Coach? Just kind of on the way out. He was mainly moved to play an outside role this season, and Tennessee spread us out. We were playing full nickel, and his position was used less. We didn't want to move him inside for 1 week as a freshman. We expect him to play more this weekend and the matchup versus Florida. When I heard that, I was so discouraged. I was so let down. I was so just kind of busted, in the sense of the air had been let out, because I cannot believe, after watching 5 games of LSU play and throwing just about something new at this guy every week. If you look at Harold Perkins and the way that he's grown into the role that he was playing when he got to Auburn, at that point, he was in his 5th collegiate football game, and he had started at 3 different spots. He had started at stand-up defense. They just put him on the outside and just let him go rush the passer to start. Then they put him at middle linebacker. In the Southern game, they were down so many DBs, they started him at the nickel. And now he's been moved to outside backer. So for you to be on that level, and I don't want to draw attention to this, but it just kind of gives the idea and the scope of the level we're talking about, and make the amount of money that's being paid in that room, the head coach, the assistant coaches, and for them to have the data that they have on LSU defense, and for Harold Perkins in the 6th game of the year to be schemed out off the field is inexplicable, man. That is, to me, that is a Les Miles. That is unexplainable how DJ Welter is playing over Kendall Beckwith in the 3rd straight game. In the 3rd series that Harold Perkins wasn't on the field Saturday, and he is in good standing, and he is in good health, and he is not playing, how do you explain that? How in the hell can you look at your team and keep one of the best players on the shelf? That, to me, is one of those coaching moments that's tough to overcome, man. That's something that will stick with me in the sense of, how does that happen? And then to go out and explain it as if it makes any sense. That does not make any sense. That Tennessee was going to spread LSU out and Perkins didn't fit on the field. He's one of the best players on the team, if not the best. He's in the discussion of being a top 3 player on LSU's team in his 6th game. And it doesn't take $10 million a year and 30 years of coaching to see that. It doesn't take some master evaluator to look at LSU and say, good God, 40 is different. So much different that he cannot come off the field. There is not a scenario, a scheme, an opponent that makes sense to me or to anybody that I've talked to that knows a lot of football, a ton, that heard that answer yesterday and said, okay, now I get it. I get why he's not playing now. I mean, do you know the emphasis that was put on to sign Harold Perkins in the last 2 weeks of signing day, up to the signing day push for him? The amount of recruiting, the amount of time that people had to put in, the amount of time that not just the coaching staff was putting in on getting him to Baton Rouge. You know, people like our guy, our friend, Gordon McKernan, he's involved with Harold Perkins, right? He's one of, Perkins is one of his NIL athletes. It was stressed to Gordon how important Harold Perkins was and meant to the program. I'm not making any accusations. I'm just saying let's all open our eyes. Harold Perkins was a big-time recruit. Everybody in the country that wanted a defensive player of his status was coming after him. People like Texas A&M, Alabama, LSU, Georgia, all these people are trying to get in the mix on Perkins, right? And for him to be schemed off the field after 5 games of what you saw and hearing that explanation yesterday, man, that was discouraging. I'm not melting. I'm not saying that, that Brian Kelly is not the guy. I'm just saying that is very discouraging to watch LSU look at that defense, watch the way that Perkins plays, and have a scheme that keeps him off the field.
You don't think he could have helped against the little screen passes running out there?
The second play that he was in the game, he got a holding call against him. They couldn't. They were like, holy shit, this guy. Who is this guy?
Don't put him back in.
Keep him out of the game.
Put 33 in.
He's only got 8 more plays to go, Coach. Don't
and
worry.
look, I don't want to look back and melt down, but that is a very concerning. To me, the 2 most concerning things that I'm looking at when I see LSU without overreacting, without trying to melt, I think that LSU's moving in the right direction. I think their recruiting is on base. I think their recruiting is stacking players for the future, that it really looks good. If you look at the freshman class right now, you're looking at guys like Perkins. You're looking at both those tackles like Emory Jones and Will Campbell. You're looking at a guy like Mason Taylor. You heard the remark of what Brian Kelly said yesterday about Walker Howard. It's the same thing I told you yesterday morning about what I've been hearing about Howard since week 2. He's the best quarterback on this team. Kelly pretty much said it without saying it yesterday. I believe it was Jacques. Jacques asked him about Walker. I mean, he said he gains more knowledge every day. He believes he's better than any quarterback we have. He is, which is awesome, and you want that. But he respects everyone in that room. We have a good feeling about him. And if you were listening to that, you didn't see the facial expressions and the body language of Kelly when he was talking about Howard. I mean, he perked up, and that line on the end, we have a good feeling about him, was kind of like, we got a good feeling about him. It wasn't like, it was kind of like, we don't want to let the cat out of the bag, but this guy is special. And I know the reaction was, so why don't you play him? It's what we've talked about. They don't want to go misdevelop him, put him out there too soon. The thing that LSU really wrote the narrative on when developing quarterbacks. Come to LSU, we'll kill your confidence. We promise. We've got a laundry list of names that we can show you that you've done it to. They want to make sure and be fragile on the development of Walker Howard, right? So putting him behind a brand new left side of the offensive line in the swamp ain't the formula to get him right. Things are moving in the right direction there. The 2 most concerning things that I've seen up to this point is, first, special teams. The fact that they're still continuing to make mistakes, and he gets to the podium on Mondays again, and he's covering for Polian. Like, everybody has to be accountable. We get it. I understand. But how are those conversations going between Kelly and Polian? And it seems like Kelly's he's taking the bullets, which I respect. He's making the money. He's the guy that's out there on Mondays. He's not pointing fingers. It'd be easy for him to get up there and point fingers. And we've seen people do it, right? If you've covered LSU for a while, I mean, you've heard Paul Maneri, you've heard Les Miles, you've heard people just get up there and say, look, it's that kid's fault. Or it's that coach's fault. He doesn't do that, and I respect that. But the special teams thing is concerning. And it's obviously something that behind closed doors is, I would love to be a fly on the wall on those discussions. to hear what they're really like between Kelly and Polian, because it's just the mistakes are very elementary. Every time LSU makes and gets onto the field from a special team standpoint, you're holding your breath, right? Like, I mean, it's what could go wrong type feeling. And then the other thing would be this Harold Perkins thing. This is a big deal to me. I mean, like, I don't want to blow it up and make it, world-breaking news, or that the program's going to crumble over it. But the fact that nobody's in there evaluating, looking at this guy and saying, hey, guys, coaches, fellas, we can't keep him off the field. He can't play 9 plays versus Tennessee. And I'm not even talking about reacting to the 9 plays that he played against Tennessee. I'm meaning, like, you got to go into the game understanding, like, he can't play only 9 plays. But we don't want to move his position. Get the hell out of here. Put him on the field and give him an assignment and tell him to go master it. He has done it to everything that you've asked him to do. I mean, if you were watching him early in the season in kickoff team, punt team, he's the first guy down there. Florida State game. Southern game, they play him at nickel. Mississippi State game, out there just like dogging people. New Mexico, flying around. Auburn, huge pick. Flying around again. Tennessee, 9 plays. Whose fault is this? Who is making that decision?
Don't worry, you'll get a heavy dose of him. This scheme makes more sense for Harold Perkins to play.
And watch what he does to Anthony Richardson. There's only one guy on LSU's team that can spy Anthony Richardson. One guy. That's it. It's 40.
40 and white.
Put him out there and
go eat.
Like, look back at Tennessee and ask, what the hell were we thinking? Let's not ever do that again. Like, this, you got an opportunity here of that's the type of stuff that can never happen again. How many of you showed up to LSU games between 11 and 14? And this, I love DJ Welter. I think he's a great dude. He's a phenomenal person. He's a good football player. But the fact of the matter was that he wasn't better than Kendall Beckwith. And it didn't take John Chavis's experience to look at that and be able to judge that. I mean, how many of you showed up and watched Kendall Beckwith make a play on the special teams or on a third down and be like, what the hell is going on? Like, why don't they play the best players? Why don't they play the guys that make the most impact, the biggest impact? Well, he doesn't fit into the scheme. Coach, come on, man. Come on. That's overthinking at its finest. He doesn't fit the scheme. You're not scheming with the San Francisco 49ers defense. You're scheming with, you're looking for dudes. That's a dude. There's no scheme in this system that should ever keep him off the field. That was concerning, man, to hear that.
Well, what would you expect him to say?
That he was suspended. I mean, like, make it up. I was praying that my guy had skipped a class, that he had missed a workout, that he was late for something, just so he would have been like, no, we would have loved to have played him, but we just got rules and procedures we got to stick to. Okay, perfect. Not that he was mainly moved to play an outside role and Tennessee spread us out. We were playing full nickel and his position was used less. Coach. He can't come off the field, right? I mean, there has to be somebody inside those walls saying, yo. No, you can't. We can't scheme him off the field and replace him with who? A guy that's not as good as him? And it's not a knock on anybody there. It's just he's different. And when you got those guys, they got to play. They have to play. And for them to be excused off the field because of what was explained yesterday felt very Les Miles. I mean, that felt very, and I don't think that Brian Kelly is Les Miles. I think Brian Kelly would run circles around Les Miles. I don't think that he is, in the same category as the hat Those are the types of decisions that made Les Miles Les Miles. Where, it was like, hey, man, what are you looking at? What could you look at that you could say, Perkins ain't playing today? I mean, like, huh? Especially when you go down 20-7. Like, you got to have your best 11 out there. And it goes to special teams too. You're missing punt, you're missing tackles in the open field. He's not going to miss a tackle in the open field. I would bet on that. He's not going to miss a tackle when it's one-on-one. And if you're having trouble making open field tackles, well, then get the offensive lineman out of the protector spot on the punt team and put linebackers and tight ends back there and make sure that you can tackle before you get your punter killed. I mean, he's got to be the leading tackler from a punting standpoint in the country. How many tackles does he have?
Makes one every week.
But it's because you got, Emory Jones out there as your protector, and once they break through that first line, you got offensive linemen and a kicker waiting on to tackle. You as the coach, you can't get out there and tackle, but as the coach, you got to make the decision on personnel. And for them to still be having the same issues that they had against Mississippi State, that was the same issue that they had against Mississippi State. And thank God they had Emory Jones out there, or they don't make the tackle. This time it was the kicker, Jay Bramblett, that had to make that had to make the tackle.
Squared him up.
He popped somebody against Florida State, didn't he?
Yeah, I mean, he's got 2 tackles out there. Punter.
Has to learn how to tackle.
But, I mean, when you talk about the Harold Perkins thing, I don't want to beat it into the ground, but I'd imagine that he wasn't practicing a lot, right? Like, wouldn't that have been the scheme all week? Like, they knew that was the game plan going into the Tennessee game, to where you're, all right, this is in the game for 40. Next week looks a little bit better. Keep him in the box. I don't know.
Keem, Savion Jones should be starting over Ali Gay. I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. What are you looking at? I mean, I know Ali Gay looks great getting off the bus, but when you look at Savion Jones and the production that he's making on the field, it doesn't add up. I mean, Savion Jones makes plays.
I mean, this punt team is.
Oh, coach.
You're just watching it.
You got Bernard Converse and Brian Thomas at the Gunners. And you got Greg Penn, Mike Jones, Micah Baskerville. Looks like Mason Taylor on the other side.
Mason Taylor loves to play special teams.
And then you got Mashburn.
I've got no problem with Mason Taylor playing special teams.
Mashburn and 2 tight end, 2 other linemen. Emory Jones, and I don't know who the other lineman is.
They still have Emory Jones on the punt team?
Yes.
He wants to play it. He said he loves it.
They're the protectors. But, like, this punt team does not play in the SEC. Like, you can't have 4 linebackers on the punt team. Like, you need speed. Somebody that can run down there and make the play before the punt returner catches it.
Well, that's how you outkick your coverage. You got people that aren't very fast running down there.
Exactly.
Right? I mean, that's if you
Besides
want to
Brian
do
Thomas,
common sense. Yeah.
Brian Thomas is the first one down there every time.
Yeah.
And if Perkins ain't going to play defense, put him on special teams. That it's just
Wes Weeks.
well, he can't play anymore. He got hurt.
On special teams, right?
Yeah.
In the open field.
So, look, man, I just thought that was very discouraging to hear Kelly's explanation on Harold Perkins yesterday, just because, I mean, come on. What else do you need to see on Perkins?
Oh, Marlon Martinez is the other.
Yeah.
Personal.
I saw Marlon Martinez.
Oh, my goodness.
It's just, that's
Bad.
It's just, what are you doing? Like, what are
we looking at?
What's your objective? I don't understand what the objective is. If those are the players that you have the choice to choose from, well, and your issue is that you're not athletic enough to make the play, and that's just what it is. I mean, these guys are they're breaking through because they're out athleting a lot of these guys. Well, go get the 4 and 5 stars guys that are in that room. I mean, like, to me, Josh Williams, I know he's not a 4 or 5 star guy, but I mean, like, he's athletic. He's big, strong. He moves well. There's probably not going to be a lot of people that outrun him. Put him on the team. Harold Perkins. There's not going to be anyone that outruns him or breaks him down in a one-on-one scenario and beats him. If they do, good on you. You know what I mean? I'd say 8 out of 10, 9 out of 10 times when Harold Perkins is playing in a phone booth, he's going to win.
Greg Brooks. He's
Greg
always
Brooks.
ready to make a play.
I mean, all these safeties that you have back there, I mean, put those guys
Sage Ryan
out on special teams. I mean, some of these wide receivers that you want to get on the field, this is a great opportunity for them to get on the field and go run around, go fly around.
I just watched every linebacker that I named miss a tackle on that first punt.
I don't know, man. The special teams is very concerning because it's every week and it's the same things that are haunting you. It's the same.
And this was his quote about special teams. We have to field the football and tackle in space. We need to spend more time individually on things. There's a whole group of others guys. There isn't a whole group of other guys ready to play on special teams. This is not the JV squad out there. These are our best players. We have to stick with it. How long is he going to be the meat shield for Polian? Like, how long is he going to stand up there and take the bullets? I understand he's the head coach and the leader, but at some point, when it's costing you games like this and continually to put you in bad positions, every single, you can't kick it. You have to go for it because you don't trust your punt team. Can't field the kick, but you continue to receive the ball. Like, it just seems like these things that should never happen have happened since week 1.
No.
And he's just going to stand up there and say, we got to get it fixed.
So he's telling me that his best 11 to pick on a punt team is Bernard Converse, Greg Penn, Mike Jones, Baskerville, Wes Weeks, and Brian Thomas Jr. on the front line of your punt team. You telling me that's the best we got? That's the best athletes we got on the team.
That's the problem that I don't.
Looking at that whole team, the whole 85 scholarship players that he has, and that's what he's saying is the best he got.
Got to stick with it.
Oh, man.
That sounds.
You take that to the swamp. You take that to Ole Miss. You take that with Alabama.
Anywhere.
That's the type of stuff that gets you beat, man. Hughes
40 to
Bowden,
13.
Jordy, what explanation would about Perkins would you have been okay with? That he was suspended, Hughes. That's what I would have been okay with. There's no explanation on not playing Harold Perkins 6 games into the season. Have you watched LSU play? Brian Burgess, it doesn't matter if Perkins had gotten a strip sack or an INT. I don't believe it would have made that much of a difference. Go back to your meetings, Brian. I mean, get the hell out of here. You don't think that Harold Perkins, on the second play that he was out there, he got a hold called against him. That's impacting the game. For him to only play 8 plays after that is on the coaches. I mean, period. Whoever's making the decision to take him off the field. LSU was on their heels the entire first half defensively, playing with crunched fields, was playing in short areas. And the second play that Harold Perkins is on the field, late in the first quarter, he gets a holding call against him. And somebody on the sideline said, get him out. Get the other guy back in. Huh? What do you mean? We hadn't got a holding call against us all day. He's only been on the field for a play. He just got one against him. Why are we taking him off?
This dude's just running by everybody.
He's faster than that.
They're standing still.
We were so fired up yesterday, we forgot about What the Shuck. So we're What the Shucking all week over here from our friends over at
special
Bayou
teams.
Carlin Oyster Company. But the What the Shuck is easy here, right? From our friends over at Bayou Carlin Oyster Company. That's grilled oyster kits, shucked and buttered oyster kits delivered to your front door. If you use the promo code Jordy online, you'll save yourself 20% on online orders. And that's the way to get in touch with Bayou Carlin Oyster Company. Get in touch with them online at BayouCarlinOysterCo.com. If you're hosting a tailgate party this weekend while LSU's in the swamp, if you're planning on going to tailgate for Cincinnati in town with Joey B., Jamar Chase, and the boys down in New Orleans, and you want to tailgate, you want to do it in style, get in touch with our friends over at Bayou Carlin Oyster Company. Log online to BayouCarlinOysterCo.com. Use the promo code Jordy. You'll save yourself 20% right there on their fantastic website, beautiful website, talking about giving some history how you can find the taste of South Louisiana. I know we've got a lot of listeners from outside the state of Louisiana. If you're from Louisiana and miss the taste of home, Bayou Carlin Oyster Company is a great way to keep up with the tastes of South Louisiana. Get in touch with them online at BayouCarlinOysterCompany.com. Use the promo code Jordy. Remember, what the shuck every Monday, and it'll be all week here. After we were too fired up, but again, what the shuck here on Tuesday? How in the hell does Harold Perkins not play? I mean, that was, Coach, that was alarming yesterday to be in that room. I couldn't. I really. Katie was sitting right next to me when Kelly was giving his explanation on Perkins, and I put my head down and I was defeated. It was as if somebody had snuck Les into the
fever dream,
into the press conference and sent me back to a Columbus Day journey when all the Italians had
got on your boat,
sailed over. It was
Jack Best is still pretty good, huh?
It was a bad day, man. I just thought that was a very alarming statement to make, that there's still scheme that can keep Harold Perkins off the field.
I mean, Coach Kasky was in here, and I think he's probably said it the best way. Is like, whenever the Steelers played nickel, did they take James Harrison off the field? No. I mean, you keep your best players on the field no matter what. They find a way to make a play. I understand that. And I understand LSU's lack of depth. Like, I get what they're saying in the chat. I know that LSU is limited in that capacity because of what was left for Brian Kelly to have to come clean up. Like, he had to put together a team, and he did a good job of finding players. But at this point, you got to use them. I mean, you can't worry about injury. You really can't. I mean, it's going to happen regardless. People are going to get hurt. It's football. But you know what is hurting you? Special teams. Having people out there that can't tackle. Like, do you want to win a game, or are you concerned about injury?
Yeah.
They
Jason Brumfield.
know what you signed up for?
I feel like the Perkins thing was BK taking a bullet for Matt House, who's the defensive coordinator and the linebackers coach. The man should know better. Hopefully so. You know, like I've got no problem with those parts. You know, I mean, even Kelly protecting Polian. The thing about Kelly protecting Polian at this point is that it's so just obvious, and it's so embarrassingly obvious. It has to be for Brian Kelly to go address this every week, not only in the form of media asking questions, but I mean, he's got to give it in his opening statement. He's got to talk about some of the special teams wonder again and again and again and again. I mean, it is becoming, it's a weekly deal with LSU. So,
where do you see them? Do you think LSU is more what happened against Mississippi State, or more of what happened? I don't think they're so much as close to the game they played against Tennessee as they are to more of a complete game. I felt like just because of the way the game started, it felt like
you were out.
Yeah, from the gun.
Well, look, I still give Matt House the benefit of the doubt.
You were still in that game.
Playing with short fields.
Yeah, I mean, he's playing with short fields the entire game. And I've seen him coach 6 games at LSU. 5 of them were at a very, high rate. I mean, his dude can coach. I mean, there's no debate on whether or not this guy can look at talent, see talent, evaluate talent, put talent in the spots to make plays that win games. I believe in that. I believe that Matt House is that guy. I mean, I don't believe that Brian Polian is that guy, but I believe that Matt House is obviously a great hire. I mean, he might be, outside of Frank,
the best hire.
He could be the best hire on the staff.
He is.
I mean,
he's proven it.
So it's. I still believe that. That's why I don't want it to seem like I'm melting, or that the world is ending, that it's just blowing up, because it's not. It's one game. It's it's something that it's inexplicable, and you still have time to make it right. I mean, if we look back on the data after 7 more games, 8 more games, and you look back and say, okay, Perkins is a freshman All-American. He made plays at every spot that you put him at. He had a phenomenal freshman year, except for that one Saturday that they just kind of lost their mind and didn't play him against Tennessee. Okay, that's cool. That's fine. But if this becomes a story, I will melt. I mean, I'll melt. Because this is Devin White. This is Leonard Fournette. This is Tyrann Mathieu. These are freshmen, Derek Stingley, that we've seen come through the program that's just very obvious. It's get them on the field. And once they get on the field, you can't take them off. There's no scheme that keeps players like Harold Perkins off the field. Have I beat the horse dead enough?
Yes.
Okay.
Where's Armani Goodwin? How much longer is he out?
hurt.
LSU has got to find a run game.
He's hurt.
4 to 5 weeks. He's
Yeah.
out, bro.
I mean, he snapped his hamstring from the bone.
Yeah. They had to
I just didn't know if we'd gotten an update since the last time that's what I'd heard, and it was a few weeks ago at Mississippi State is when he got hurt. Is that right?
He got hurt against New Mexico.
New Mexico?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Late
Early
that
in the
game.
second half.
Yeah.
And he had surgery on that.
Oh, okay. So he's not playing this year.
No, he'll be back. But, I mean, you running back hamstring surgery, that's...
Yeah, you got to take that.
I mean, that's time, man. I mean, that's just...
I'm
It's a different time, man.
I'm just trying to find some sort of avenue because I'm not quite sure what LSU was. I just don't understand why they went with this narrative of we're going to change what we do on offense right before the Tennessee game. I know you feel like you have to keep up a little bit, but do what you brought Jaden Daniels in here to do. Let him go win you a football game, however it looks. You can't let prevailing theories of what the outside of what people's opinions of your team are affect how you coach games. And it felt like they just coached themselves like right out of the Tennessee game from the first whistle. And so I'm just hoping that if you go into, because I understand why you have to do that against Tennessee. You feel like you have to change some things up because of how good they are. But do you go back to your kind of original game plan that you had early on in the year against Florida, where you can go into the swamp and beat Florida?
Absolutely.
But if you
could
don't
have beat Tennessee.
Yeah.
right, that's what I'm saying. But do you go like, let's not overcomplicate it again. Let's not go.
And Jaden Daniels started the game off hitting every throw. Like
He played
he
well.
hit all his throws except the deep one, the one-on-one. But I mean, you're running 2-man routes with an 8-man protection. Like,
And that's
can we get more people out in the route? They could have snuck somebody out. It was 3rd and 1, not 3rd and 15. So
Yeah.
I mean,
3rd and 1, you take a deep shot knowing you're going for it on 4th down. I don't get that either. But like that's what I'm saying. You can go back and see how LSU kind of coached themselves out this game. I'm wondering, and that's why I was kind of shocked to see that Will Campbell isn't going to play. Obviously, it's a serious situation, but without Will Campbell at left tackle, you have to bring in an extra tight end to help protect on the left side. It changes your entire offense.
And then a quarter in, you lose your other anchor of your left side. I mean, you lost your entire left side of your offensive
And
line.
then Tennessee just started loading up on that side. Said, we're bringing pressure here all night, boys. Get ready.
hello.
Living back here. And so it changes the way LSU has to run their offense almost because you can't be as multiple as you want to be. You can't be as dynamic because you have to bring in Mashburn, Cole Taylor, Mason Taylor, and it's just Nick Storrs was out there. And if you're going to have to do that on offense, it's going to be a lot of 2-man routes and a lot of you better come up with something to get somebody open because it's going to be a long day back there. And I think your best bet is letting Jaden be the runner that he is. I know you don't want to do it a lot.
You can do that, but I mean, you won't have him 2 quarters in.
Right, but
I mean, that's
you just have to find a way to
Jaden Daniels is still seeing things that he's never seen in his life, and it's obvious. I mean, the SEC speed it's too quick for him still, right? Because, I mean, there's no better example than the second drive of the game. I'm telling you, Kayshawn is on the inside. He runs skinny post, and he's one-on-one. And from the end zone shot, you can see Jaden Daniels sees him. He sees him. Like he sees Kayshawn running one-on-one. I don't care if you play quarterback at the college level, high school level, elementary school level, junior high level. When you see that and you play that position, I got to put it out there. Like, there's one-on-one, my guy, his guy. If you're Jaden Daniels and you're seeing Kayshawn down there, you can't think there's not too many other people I'd rather on the other end of this thing. Let me just give him a chance. and he sees him, he pats it and puts it down and runs it and gets 4 yards. It's just that's who he is. I mean, and there's no use. Last week was a big waste of time looking back on it. From my standpoint, from our standpoint, asking him to change, thinking he was going to change, urging him to change, expecting him to change. That's really on us. As I'm pulling out of Tiger Stadium on Saturday and I'm hearing people dog cuss, Jaden Daniels and immediately react to this thing, hyperbolic reaction of, change the quote. It's like, come on, man. What did you expect? What do you want from him? Because what we've seen through 6 games, that's who he is. And he's not going to take risks, and he's not going to push the ball down the field, and he's going to be more comfortable running. And I still think that there's a sense of he may not understand fully what he's looking at just yet, and I think it's because there's just so much speed that's coming at him in the front 7. I mean, the Pac-12's got athletes. I'm not trying to diminish the Pac-12, but they don't have linebackers and defensive linemen that run 4.4 that weigh 300 pounds. They just don't. They just don't. And when you see that for the first time, there has to be some type of reactionary period to it. I think that he's still probably in a little bit of shock that he's getting chased down by, outside linebackers and defensive tackles. And he's not going to change.
No,
Jaden Daniels is not going to change.
Right, but I don't think he played poorly. I mean, I know that you can look at the numbers and you can kind of manipulate them any way you want, seeing 300 yards, 70% completion, and you can say, well, you were down 30 the entire game. Yeah, but he still had to do it. Like, they knew he was throwing it too, so it doesn't make it easier for him. But I think that he showed you that there's the 300-yard version of Jaden Daniels and there's the 80-yard version of Jaden Daniels. If we can meet somewhere in the middle, like 200 yards and 65 yards rushing, kind of like just be the catalyst of the offense that it has to be, because the way that this thing is designed right now, it doesn't seem like it's feasible to get the ball to the playmakers. They're not making it easy to do.
Didn't always get help from his receivers either.
No, and there's been some drops, but that's going to happen whenever you throw the ball as many times as they did. I get that too, but you have to. This is where it comes down to coaching. You look at what Tennessee did, and look at how easily they get the ball out in space. Like, don't overthink it. There's ways especially with a quarterback that some people, doesn't want to throw it downfield, fine, throw it short. Like, get the ball in space to guys with bubbles and like slip screens and just easy ways, extension of the run game with handoffs. Like, there's other ways to do it to get people involved that LSU is just completely phased out. Instead, we're checking it down to Mason Taylor 11 times a game. Like, I get Mason Taylor's good, but that can't be your go-to guy. It's not Travis Kelce.
Jack Best still 1 reception.
I mean, you got to start wondering if Jack Best wants to be here anymore.
And 14 yards.
Like, I know he's LSU to the bone, but, Coach, I could be playing at 11 other schools in the SEC. I know that for a fact.
Another school in the SEC might be getting a coach here. If you saw this yesterday, Carolina Panthers made room and fired Matt Rule just 5 games into the 3rd season of Matt Rule over in Carolina. They got blown out over the weekend, 37-15 at home by the 49ers. Rule is the first coach of the NFL this season to be fired. His defensive pass game coordinator and secondary coach, Steve Wilkes, will be named the interim. He was the head coach back in Arizona in 2018. I feel like Rule's going to end up at Auburn. If he's not at Auburn, I guess he would be one of those jobs like Wisconsin or Nebraska as a good fit. Maybe
feels
possibly.
like Auburn, though, right?
Feels like he to me is one of these guys that, look, he flamed out and failed in the NFL.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But his college resume is really impressive. What he did at Temple, what he did at Baylor, those were 2 situations that they weren't in the graveyard. I mean, they were like in the back of the graveyard, forgotten about. I mean, they were 2 programs that were past life support. And he was able to revitalize both of them. He did it through, college football building program type methods of recruiting and people and personnel and, bringing the right people in and attracting the right players. And I think that, his name within the college ranks still carries a lot of weight. In fact, I would say that he probably at this point is more of an attractive piece than Urban Meyer. I mean, who would you rather? Put it on the poll, Stewie. Urban Meyer and Matt Rule to coach your college football team. Brought to you by Southern Eye Centers of Baton Rouge. Ann Shaw, Dr. Ann Shaw and her group over at Southern Eye Center. Located on Jefferson Highway. Remember, stop in, use the promo code Jordy. Looking for some new sunglasses? All you got to do is use the show code, Jordy Culotta Show, and you'll save yourself 25%. But I think that Matt Rule's a more attractive name right now in college football than Urban Meyer. I know that everybody drinks the Urban Meyer sauce, especially athletic directors and boosters. But, obviously there is a feeling that comes with Meyer now. But I think that, Matt Rule is a very attractive name on the college level. I think that Auburn is probably trying to find the personnel, the people in line to make the hire.
And Matt Rule seems like the type of guy that would be able to kind of buck back against the Auburn decision makers or whoever is holding them back.
Well, he'll probably go in there with the understanding of, I'm not signing the deal without this understood.
Right.
You're not doing to me what you did to, Gene Chizik, to
I can't think of his name either.
What's our boy's name over at Central Florida? Gus Malzahn and Brian Harsin. It's just not going to happen. Whoever goes in there needs to have control of that.
Brian Harsin tried to do that. Whenever he got there, he's like, "No, I'm bringing in my own people." And they
Didn't
immediately,
have the resume.
Right? But he tried to go in there with say, "I look, if I'm coming to this school, this is the way I'm going to coach it." And he immediately got railroaded by Auburn higher ups. I feel like Matt Rule, even with the little drool on his jersey, looking hungover all the time.
Yeah,
he can go in there. He looks like a college coach.
He does.
He's got that good feel to him. He got a little dip.
He
on
almost
his
looks
shirt.
like a college equipment trainer.
He looks like somebody that woke up at the fraternity house and was like, "We still doing it, boys." And
right.
Matt, dude, you graduated 25 years ago, but good to see you on Alumni Day. Tap the keg for old Coach Rule. He's back, but he can win you some football games. He just got that. He's got a little disheveled look for him, but he can win. And then I saw somebody say he could hold out for the Oklahoma job. I don't think they give up on Venables that quickly. He's probably got a little bit of a leash.
Coach, let me tell you something. If I'm looking at Venables in the SEC, I'm looking and saying, we better bail, boys. We better be looking around because this ain't it.
Yeah, especially with Texas going
How
the other
is
way.
Oklahoma that bad? How are they that bad?
They lost a lot of players.
Oh, come on, Coach. LSU lost a lot of players.
Yeah, but they lost a lot. They lost
It's a good bowl game matchup.
They lost their playmakers,
the quarterback.
Their dudes.
They
lost their quarterback, their top receiver. They lost all.
They got robbed in the middle of the night.
I know.
They got Dylan Gabriel.
They got it.
Dude broke his leg 3 times.
Saw the bones.
It's alarming how bad Oklahoma is. They're bad. They would have the first pick in the draft. Bad.
Texas curb stomped them.
They did.
Well, the bad thing is it's the defense that's bad. That's Venables' calling card. That's why you hired him.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. If there's so much money in it now, and especially coming to the SEC. You're about to get. The windfall of cash.
49 to nothing.
That the
look at the
SEC
yards.
schools are about to get. They just cut up $7 billion between the Big Ten over 5 years.
6 of 12 for 38 yards at quarterback.
Oh, Coach, they're abysmal.
That's what I'm telling you,
they are.
That's fireable.
They lost the key
I'm telling
guy.
you, it's definitely call the search. Give me a list. If you're, they got a great.
If you think LSU's all right, that makes me feel much better about LSU and James Daniels. Jesus,
their school's in a lot worse shape than LSU.
Yeah,
LSU.
Auburn.
We're not. I don't mean. I'm not melting. I'm not panicking. I'm not. You got to play Harold Perkins. Good God. Everybody. I'll give everybody a Les Miles moment. You know what I mean? That's a big stage. That's a big spotlight. It's a big. Saturdays are huge for college football coaches. I'll give you one. You know what I mean? I get it. Even Saban's got a couple of brain farts every now and again.
Now he got smashed by Florida his first year, huh? Or is that 2001?
In the SEC championship game?
No, I think they won.
You talking about Saban?
Mm-hmm. Whenever he coached at LSU.
Oh,
just
yeah.
saw it, yeah.
I mean, no, they got beaten in the national championship season in 03 by Florida.
Oh, yeah, I was at that game. They didn't score a point. Skylar Green returned a punt. Yeah, that was it. 7.
But, I mean, you got to play 40.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, come on.
But it's not good for the
play the guy.
For those that have the Brian Kelly narrative of he's not a good big game coach, that was
a lot of I told you so's from Notre Dame.
Yes,
fans.
that's what I was getting.
A lot of quote tweets.
Twitter.
A lot of quote tweets. I told you
4-13 against top 10 teams.
Barf.
Didn't have the talent.
All right, the Carpool Queen is here. We will bring her onto the set next. We'll also talk to Billy Embody from On 3, who will stop by here and give us his thoughts over the weekend, recruiting, Brian Kelly's press conference yesterday, and more. Don't forget, we're brought to you by RMB Builders. Rhett Bourgeois and our crew over at RMB Builders can custom design you a home. They can do any type of repair that you're looking for. Katie's got them over at the house right now as they've got some reconstruction happening over there. You want to keep up with RMB? Best way to do it is hit them on Instagram. Their Instagram is on fire. Check them out. Follow them on Instagram, rmb-builders.com. rmb-builders.com can get a real clear scope of the work of what they offer over at RMB. But everything from a handyman to building your construction or handling your construction for your brand new dream home, RMB can handle everything in between. Get in touch with Rhett, the crew, rmb-builders.com, rmb-builders.com. Hit them on Instagram. Give them a follow there on IG as you can keep up with all of the new social media that's dropping daily over there. rmb-builders.com. Hour 2 next. Compliments of Go Chevrolet.
In a wreck, Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys is ready to go to work for you. Come meet your team.
I'm your intake specialist. I coordinate your case and connect you with your attorney and paralegal.
That's us, your legal team.
Thanks.
And we'll fight to get you every dollar you deserve.
I'm your settlements and disbursement manager, and I'm here to get you paid on time.
I'm attorney Gordon McKernan. Put our team to work today. Just call us. Get it done.
Sports with it.
It's just like anything else. I mean, I don't want to get into hyperbole, but it's, everything is. I mean, frankly, I'm still worried more about concussions. We don't talk about it much anymore, but, we've kind of helped solve it in a lot of ways and make the game a lot safer. So anytime we have existential threats, which this one could or could not be, we just deal with it, and we will deal with it. It's just part of the game. And, I don't mind a lot of what's come out of this movement of doing more for the student athletes, but like anything else, it boomerangs a little too far, and you got to swing it back into, hey, what we do for the student athletes, and it's a hell of a lot, and I'm proud of that fact that we are leaders in doing that. But
question in that game. You're listening to the Jordy Culotta Show live on YouTube. Catch it every day, 7 to 9 a.m., wherever you have internet access.
Oh, my guy, the host of Mac and Cube.
You said you wanted me to close it out.
I listen to his pod every day on WJOX 94. I thought I was going to beat Charlie. I didn't. You were fantastic as always. Have a great call in Missouri. I'll see you soon, man.
Thanks, man. Good
Later.
talking to you, Jordy.
Always. There he is. Cole Kubelik, the absolute best. Don't overthink it, ABC. When you move to a primetime slot and the SEC is getting that billing, make this man the color commentator. He's the absolute best.
Ooh, I mean, what a pro.
What a pro.
I remember telling them, hey, listen, my job here is to make sure that we bring, big time football to a small town environment, right? And so you see on movies sometimes about the way a town reacts to the football program and what it means to everybody. And that was the hopes and dreams that I had for the place. And so our kids take a distinct responsibility in wearing that Z on their helmet. It means a lot to them. And then on the flip side of that, our community does a tremendous job of supporting our program, supporting the athletic department, supporting our school as a whole. And there's really a great relationship there that's a lot of fun to be a part of.
Thank you for the access, man. Looking forward to tonight. We'll talk soon.
Coach, wait, before you go, fix your hair again one more time.
Look at him.
Let's go
Yes. Look at him.
What do you think about that?
Game day,
What do you
baby.
think about that?
Game day. Hell yeah.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it, man. Great to see you. Thank you.
You too, guys. I appreciate it. Y'all have a great day.
All right, man. There he is. There he is, my guy. David Brewerton checking in. What does Harold Perkins do for this defense? What does he allow you guys to do?
Yeah, Perk, man, he's just so raw, man. Like, all he know how to do is make a play. But I love him. He brings a certain type of juice to the defense, and he's right alongside of me on the edge. He knows how to rush the edge. As a young guy, that's very valuable to the defense, being able to rush the edge. Making the quarterback step up. But yeah, they put him everywhere. Middle linebacker, outside rusher. Maybe sometimes he's gonna be in the drop. So he's very versatile for our defense.
Hey, fellas, it's Jordy Culotta for my friends over at Men's Total Health. Guys, do you suffer from fatigue, decreased libido, erectile dysfunction, weight gain or loss of muscle mass, signs of depression, anxiety, hair loss, mental fog, general loss of interest? Then you might be suffering from low testosterone. Go see my friend Mike Roach and his great team over at Men's Total Health, over in Metairie at menstotalhealth.net online. And stop in and see how they can change your life today. A simple shot and some knowledge from Mike Roach can get you back up, moving with your energy, get your sex drive back, build your muscle mass, make you feel young again. All online, menstotalhealth.net. Donaldsonville Glass and Body, the trusted name in frame, body, and automotive paint repair since 1977. They have served their customers for over 45 years. You can find them online at dgbauto.com or stop in and see them Railroad Avenue and Division Street out in Donaldsonville, Louisiana. Look, they can help you with your insurance claims. They can make the repair process as stress-free as possible. I'm speaking from experience here. I've got numerous windshields, body repair, all done by Kenny and the crew over at Donaldsonville Glass and Body. They are, without question, the most well-equipped shop in the area. Stop in and see them today. Shop them online, dgbauto.com, or stop in and see the crew over in Division Street in Donaldsonville, Louisiana. Donaldsonville Glass and Body. Red Stick Sports, a local staple in Baton Rouge to all sports fans, was founded back in 1981 and has remained a family business for over 40 years. Today, they still have the great selection on the floor, but they're also a leader in custom apparel for businesses, sports teams, and other groups. Take it from us, everybody over here at FM Digital Media. They help us out with all of our apparel. Let them help you out today. Go ask for Cody over at Red Stick Sports. Check him out online at redsticksports.biz. We love the crew over at Fresh Chef Kitchen. Chef Shane and his crew dropping off the meals every Monday here to FM Digital Media, whether it's breakfast, lunch, dinner. Me or the crew's going through our meals over at Fresh Chef Kitchen. Their weekly pre-order, freshly made meals, or you can walk into the cooler over there on Airline Highway. They have that fresh, same service over there at Fresh Chef Eats. FreshChefEats.com is where you can find them online. Fresh Chef Kitchen. Tell them you heard it right here on the Jordy Culotta Show. I was embarrassed about my smile. Are you unhappy at yours? Do you not smile back at yourself? I called my friend, Dr. Spillers, over at Johnson Spillers. He fixed my smile, and now everywhere I go, people are complimenting it after the work that Dr. Spillers and the staff did to my mouth. They can do it to yours. Get in touch with them. JohnsonSpillers.com. 2 locations, one in Gonzales, one in Baton Rouge. Easy to find them, JohnsonSpillers.com. Welcome back here to the Jordy Culotta Show, driven and powered by Go Chevrolet. Carpool Queen is here as she has made her way through traffic. How was it this morning?
It was easy. I guess you
She's a
guys
pro
on
now.
fall break and maybe someone else is on fall break.
She's just a pro.
I am a pro.
That's what it
I am
is.
a definite carpool pro, but traffic
Katie
was
Fredette?
easy. I came all the way downtown to Government Street and just sailed the whole way. Yeah, something's up.
Traffic wasn't bad for the LSU game either.
What's happening?
I mean, everybody left it.
I left when everybody else left.
You talking about on the way out or on the way in?
The way out.
On the way out, it was
Oh, the way
weird.
in, I had an Uber driver from New Orleans that was not with it. He was like, we ain't sitting in this shit. And he just started, he already had tire marks on the side of his car. I was like, this is the guy I need. Get me to this
Tire
game.
marks on the side of his car.
That's
yeah,
my type
like
of guy.
somebody, he'd already gotten in a little bit of a dust up.
Speaking of my type of guy, babyface Billy. Wonder how we're looking in season here. Now, past the honeymoon period.
Beard.
Well into the married state. Let's see. Let's see what he looks like here now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Still baby
All right,
face.
buddy.
I like it though.
How we doing?
Is that a little shadow there?
Shaven.
Good morning.
Good morning, guys. How are you?
I'm going to change up the topic from the first hour. Why is Harold Perkins not playing?
I think he's a guy you've got to find ways to just get on the field no matter what. I understand the reasoning that Brian Kelly gave on Monday. I just think with his athleticism, that's something that this defense needs, especially to, Tennessee's a good offensive football team, don't get me wrong, but you got to have athletes out there that are on the level of some of these other SEC teams. And against Florida, against Ole Miss, you're going to see athletes all over the place that can make plays. They need Harold Perkins out there. And, Brian Kelly said he's going to play more this week. They got to get him out there.
Bill, you've done this for a long time, and you're a great resource because you've started covering these guys when they're in high school. How good is Perkins?
I really think, athletically, he has all the traits of being somebody who could be a first-round pick. And to see him get on the field right away shows that. Because when he came in at 200 pounds. He didn't come in as somebody who was already yoked up and had been lifting, a really incredible amount and just was physically ready to go. He worked at it. He had to get with the nutrition staff and really develop that side of things for himself. And he did that over the summer, and that's why he was able to step in right away and play. He bought in. I think it's still a learning thing for him in a lot of different ways. And I think that's why they kind of moved him outside and said, go get after the quarterback, rush the passer, and play on the edge a little bit more. But you see his pure athleticism that allows him to make plays, drop in coverage. That's just what you want out of a linebacker in today's day and age. I think his future is really, really bright. Once they move him back to that middle linebacker spot in the long term, I think he'll develop those other areas of his game. And he needs to, continue to work on reading his keys and doing all those things. And he'll have to run the defense, of course. But, he's so talented. They had to get him on the field in some capacity right away, and they did that.
They lost their left side of the offensive line, Campbell, well before the kickoff on Friday night, and then Dellinger went down in the first half. Who do you expect to go on Saturday in those spots?
I think you've got to look at Miles Frazier in one of those situations. I think he's somebody that, has the length, has the size to do it. I think Emory Jones has played well on the right side, so you don't want to necessarily slide him over to the left and kind of really jumble up your whole look on the offensive line. There are going to be guys that they're going to have to rotate in. It's going to be a process. I think the left guard spot especially is going to be something that is really up in the air. They could try a bunch of different guys there, quite honestly.
Billy, when you look at this matchup between Florida and LSU, this is one that's obviously been a rival for a while now. What does the mix of Kelly and Napier add to it?
It's a really interesting, dynamic between these two coaches. They're two pretty different, people in general. Billy obviously has ties to Louisiana. He's, been on Nick Saban's staff. He's been kind of all over. Brian Kelly has certainly been, a head coach for a long, long time now, and is, very much has that political background. Billy's just kind of a football coach. He was asked about the LSU job this week, and he just said, "Look, I'm not trying to get into that." And he kind of said it in a way that you would expect Billy to kind of handle it. So I think it's just a very interesting dynamic, and both have had their positives with the way they've started their tenures, and both have also had, their moments where they've not a growing pain situation because both have been head coaches, but both have, maybe wanted things to go a little differently, whether it be recruiting here and there, whether it be just how the games have gone this season. But I think both are really, really good fits for where they ended up. And I think they're going to be battling it out for a while now.
Brian Kelly had a lot of positive things to say about Walker Howard, and not a lot of positive things to say. You could tell his feelings were very positive in his short remarks on Howard. Billy, I've heard from some pretty trusted sources within LSU's program that as early as week 2, they were noticing that Howard's probably the best quarterback in the program already. What do you expect of the timeline on Howard, and what are you hearing of him behind the scenes?
I think with Walker, they would like to redshirt him. I think in the end, that's what you want to do. You don't want to put him in a situation that could stunt his growth. We talked about the offensive line being down 2 starters on the left side. Those aren't good situations for a guy to cut his teeth and get experience in, just because of where the offense is as well. That being said, he's got some arm talent. He's got a lot of the tools that you want. It looks like he's going to have a bright future. Do they eventually make the move to him at some point if things continue to go south? I'm not so sure they're ready to do this. Brian Kelly talks about it being a process, it being something where they want to, build this, and it's going to take time. But does that involve a quarterback change? I'm not so sure. Garrett Nussmeier hasn't seen the field much. Played against Auburn a little bit, but he's somebody that you would think if they felt good enough about him, he would have gotten some opportunities, against Tennessee, which for whatever reason they hadn't. So I think you at some point need to get Walker Howard some time, but I think the situation needs to be best for him and his long-term development, quite honestly.
Billy, what is recruiting like right now in season? We saw a 5-star quarterback from California come down for an official a couple of weeks back in Sayin. Where is LSU as far as just the recruiting calendar moves right now?
Yeah, the 2023 class they're kind of shooting for the moon, and also making some, in-season evaluations. They've got top targets in that 2023 class, like Javian Toviano, the 4-star defensive back out of Texas, Nicholas Harbor, the 5-star athlete out of the DMV. They've got some other top prospects that they're kind of poking around on, trying to round out this class. And then they're also looking in Louisiana at some prospects to, extend offers to. And then we've seen some senior evals go out. They offered Missouri 4-star tight end commit Brett Norfleet. They offered Kamarian Pipkitten out of North Crowley, a Vanderbilt commit, who's a really promising prospect on the rise as a senior. And then Arian Carter, a 4-star linebacker out of Tennessee, who has just about offers from everybody, but has been committed to Memphis. Those are the type of guys they're working on in the class of 2023. You mentioned the 5-star quarterback, Julian Sayin. He's going to visit Alabama in a couple weeks. He said he's probably a couple months out from a decision. If he continues to drag things on, what does that say about where things stand with LSU? I think the staff is going to have to just continue to keep the press on because, he's somebody that if you could just get him on board, most of the time with quarterbacks, they usually stay firm, but he's been high on LSU and they've recruited him really hard. And he came for a visit a couple weeks ago. Georgia, it looks like it's kind of not as much in the picture as it once was, maybe over the summer. LSU needs to get Julian Sayin on board. He's somebody out of Carlsbad that had a terrific sophomore year, is having a good junior year right now. Still very, very talented. He would be a really nice centerpiece to kind of start building out that 2024 class even more so. They've already got some quality commits on board in that class. Right now, it's a lot of just laying that groundwork, trying to get those guys on board in the class of 2024 and kind of lined up for official visits in the summer. And those guys are coming in for games at a really nice clip as well.
I know that you just ran a feature on a defensive back out of 2024. Obviously, that is a position of high concern and need in the offseason. Billy, what are some targets here that we're starting to see LSU zero in on?
Yeah, I think this is a class that's already really good in the secondary for the class of 2024. You've got Maurice Williams, a really nice looking safety, who's somebody who could end up probably being a little bit more of a box guy. He's the highest rated commit in the class of 2024. They also have Zion Ferguson out of Grayson. So that Grayson program has been really, really good to LSU so far. I think they're starting to cast, a national net. They had Desmond Ricks on campus. That was a big one. They had Ellis Robinson on campus with him. That was a big one. Those are both top 10 prospects, not only at their positions, but in the country. They're the number 1 and number 2 corners nationally next cycle. So they're, again, kind of laying the groundwork. They've had some really quality visitors on campus in 2023, but especially, we talked about in the spring that the staff having to kind of play some catch up here and build those relationships in some cases rather quickly. Well, the class of 2024, a lot of these guys have now been on campus 2 or 3 times. So that's what you want leading into the spring, is to already have relationships built. One prospect that I really like where LSU stands early on for is Kobe Black, a top 50 overall prospect, number 4 corner nationally. He's out of the state of Texas. His brother Corey plays for Oklahoma State. But LSU is a school he's really enamored with. Texas, Oklahoma State, of course, Oklahoma, plenty of others will be in the mix there. He's a really, really good looking prospect in the secondary, and I wouldn't be surprised if he got down for a visit soon.
Tiger Stadium, obviously, not as friendly on 11 o'clock a.m. kickoffs to recruits, but how do we see these visitor lists shaking up as game weekends are coming and going? What do we expect with Ole Miss now, 2:30 kickoff, not this Saturday, but next at LSU?
Yeah, I think that's kind of your sweet spot. I think for guys that are coming way out of state, you want a night kick. That allows them to, if they play on Friday night, fly in. If they've got to connect to Baton Rouge, or if they've got to connect to New Orleans, or whatever, if they're coming from coast to coast, that's the helpful one. But 2:30 is really solid. That allows guys to land and kind of come in, or basically kind of have a 6-hour driving radius of what's kind of reasonable to get up and get going for some of these games that are early, like a 2:30. I think it really helps, and I think the way Ole Miss is playing, helps as well. This is has the potential to be a fun matchup. The way LSU defense played against Tennessee, not what they wanted. Obviously, they got put behind the 8 ball pretty quickly with some mistakes. We'll see if they can bounce back against Florida. That'll kind of tell the tale of where things are trending for the season in reality. But you've still got a 2:30 kick, middle of October, late-ish October for Ole Miss. That's pretty solid. So I think you're going to see this visitor list continue to show really well. I do know Dejan Womack, who is in 5-star range for us, is planning to come down for that game. He wants to bring his teammate and 2024 4-star quarterback Michael Van Buren down with him as well. So there will be a lot of really quality prospects that weekend on campus, and it's trending to be a weekend where especially I think Jamar Cain's defensive line class is going to show up in a big way and catch the game and then enjoy a 2:30 kick at Tiger Stadium.
Good to see you, Bill. Thank you for the information.
Great to see you guys. Anytime. Thanks for
Billy
having
Embody
me.
checking in from On3 this morning. Make sure to hit him up over there at on3.com and check out at Billy Embody on Twitter at Billy Embody. That conversation brought to you by our friends over at Edward Jones. Daniel Newman, daniel.newman at edwardjones.com. Get in touch with our friend over there, especially if you work in the industrial space, if you work out within the plants and need some advice on what you need to do from a finance standpoint, what you need to do with your 401k, some of your investment strategies you may be thinking about, get in touch with Daniel. Daniel.Newman at edwardjones.com. Daniel.Newman at edwardjones.com. Located in Central, across from Stabs. Stop in and see him. What's up?
Oh, I was just going to say I'm surprised Billy didn't know that Pulling is in charge of recruiting that defensive line class, not Jamar Cain.
Yeah, right.
I thought he would know that inside information.
That's right. Daniel.Newman at edwardjones.com. We will be back here with more of the Jordy Culotta Show, driven and powered by Go Chevrolet.
Did y'all talk about
Don't let the name fool you. Men's Total Health has offerings for the ladies, too.
Guys, is your wife or partner suffering from urinary incontinence, low sexual desire, or pain during sex? Then the O shot might be for her. Don't let it scare you. It's totally natural. It's PRP, and Mike Roach and the crew at Men's Total Health will make you as comfortable as you can be. Contact me for more information, Katie at JordyCulottaShow.com, and I'm happy to tell you everything that Men's Total Health has to offer for the ladies.
Looking to book a dumpster but no idea how? We've made it quick and easy for you. Check out our website at moralesrolloffs.com. Let Morales Roll-Offs know your desired delivery date, and finally, provide your contact details. To make payment, look out for an email invoice with all your booking details. On delivery day, our driver will notify you through text and email that your dumpster is ready and on the way. Now you know how easy and convenient it is. Call Morales Roll-Offs at 225-427-0000 for your dumpster.
Hey Baton Rouge, when traveling through Natchez, Mississippi, whether you need to fill up your vehicle or your belly, stop by Go-Mart and On The Go Deli. Go-Mart has clean restrooms, community coffee, an awesome beer cave, and a great selection of anything you might need on your trip. So stop by Go-Mart at 4 Sergeant Prentice Drive as you're entering Natchez on the left, and visit Tom and Wright Granning and their awesome team at Go-Mart.
Don't let the name fool you. Men's Total Health has offerings for the ladies, too. Guys, is your wife or partner suffering from...
We're all from different places and backgrounds. We've each experienced our own versions of life. But in the end, we're all on the same team. I'm part of that team, along with these players in purple and gold.
Kayshawn Buddha, Malik Neighbors, Miles Frazier,
Kyra Lacey,
Greg Brooks.
Whether on the field or in the courtroom, your team matters.
So join our team. Make a difference. Bet. Let's get it done.
Best athlete to come out of New Iberia, Mark Roman.
Kayshawn Buddha.
Kayshawn? Wow.
Right now, Kayshawn, and Mark was a little bit before me. I was a ball boy. When Mark was playing at New Iberia Senior High School. I played like right after Mark. But just has done some things, and just the things that you guys are seeing Kayshawn do, that he's not even scratching the surface of what we saw on a day-to-day basis at practice. And he's unreal. He's unreal.
He's so natural. It's so so easy. It looks so easy to him.
Yes, it's so easy, and there's never been another a competitor I've ever seen like Kayshawn. Kayshawn would not lose going to eat pregame meal. He has to be the first. He is the ultimate competitor. He would not lose. So trust me, he will be ready.
That they can score points in a blink, and you look up and you're in a situation where you were last Saturday night, where you're down 17-0, and your offense is showing no signs of life. No signs of being able to make plays and extending the field with, their wide receivers and changing the scoreboard. I think that they may go to Nussmeier on Saturday. And I'm not saying that, Saturday, if Daniels shows that he is still too uneasy of letting the ball go and throwing the ball down the field, and LSU gets into a situation where Tennessee may jump out early because they have the type of offense that, they can score points in a blink. And, you look up and you're in a situation where you were last Saturday night, where you're down 17-0, and your offense is showing no signs of life, no signs of being able to make plays and extending the field with, their wide receivers and changing the scoreboard. I think that they may go to Nussmeier on Saturday. Welcome back. Jordy Culotta Show, driven and powered by Go Chevrolet, live here on this Tuesday morning. Hit a like button, share button, comment button. We appreciate that very much every day here with you, as we will take your phone calls and your voicemails tomorrow. So make sure you get those in. You can call the number 225-229-7741, 225-229-7741. You can just store that into your contact list under the Jordy Culotta Show. Give us a call anytime. Leave a voicemail. Have a take, don't suck. Leave your name where you're calling from, too.
Is that tomorrow?
Carpool Queen, what's happening? Did you finish Dahmer?
I did finish Dahmer.
Give us the review.
I had to be
How
done
many
with
episodes?
It. Like I needed it. 10.
Wow.
Yeah, they went 10 deep.
Hour?
Yeah.
Hour long.
Yeah, a couple of them are a little over. Like the last one's a little bit longer than an hour.
Yeah.
Wow. So
you took in 10 hours of Dahmer.
Yeah.
Well, also not all in one sitting.
I also watched the
I had to
confession
spread
tapes.
it out. Like it's a lot. I mean, it's heavy, y'all.
Have you
at
watched the
night.
confession tapes?
No, but I saw
It's
that
like his
dropped.
lawyer telling
Yeah.
you, like she has the actual confession tapes about everything that he did, and just going through the whole, going back to his childhood.
At what point was it like, I don't even realize what I'm doing? Like,
I don't think he ever
he
really
needed
cared
he
like
just needed
that.
somebody to be like, bro, look at your house,
He
like
said,
look around.
He
What
said
are
he
you doing?
just didn't want those men to leave him.
That's what
Like,
I've always.
He had abandonment issues.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because
clearly.
his mom left him.
And he was suppressing that he was gay.
Yeah.
I just feel like
The
I'm
memes
not
are
scared
fantastic.
of him.
So
like,
good.
I
10 out
wouldn't
of
be
10.
scared of him. I think he's sick. I don't think he's scary. I just think he was sick.
He has he's a really soft-spoken guy too.
Yeah.
Did you see the one that it said, "We're not leaving till Iowa scores a touchdown"?
Wait, is it the videotape?
Yeah.
We're just gonna watch
standing
some
with the
movies.
video, and it's got Iowa football on it. It said, "I told you we're not leaving until Iowa scores."
You're still there.
Still waiting.
Yeah, worst words you could hear.
Hey, grab that battery acid for me.
We're not leaving until Harold Perkins plays.
Someone needs to make
That
that
leads
one.
until K-Shot scores a touchdown.
Oh my God.
He did.
He did. Get to go. Got to go home.
They did say that the families were never contacted or asked. Like they had no idea about any of this. Like they knew it came out when we all knew it came out. So they're pretty pissed about it. Apparently.
Who is?
The families
They
of
also-
the victims.
they
Like,
also
weren't
fabricated
contacted
a
at
little
all.
bit of their
They
information,
did. I
too.
looked it all up through the whole thing.
The
I was
lady
like,
does
you're
not.
deep in Dahmer.
The lady does not live next door.
No,
Did not.
she
live
They
in
just
the
live
next
across the
building.
street. Yeah.
But there was a lady that lived in the
Was she
building
reporting
that
stuff?
Smelled things.
Yeah.
Yeah, because she saw the kid that was outside with the battery acid. So she did report him.
They have the actual audio of the phone call after that happened of her talking to the police, and it is jarring how
really is.
ineffective the police were on this
Begging
thing.
them to come.
And they're like,
Begging
we got it handled. I don't know what you're worried about. Like, we handled it.
Yeah.
They went up into his apartment. They're like, it smells like ass in
It
here.
smells like gay people in here.
Yeah, that's what Dahmer is like. Oh, I have some things if you want to see them. And they're like, is it gay things? And then he's like, they're like, all right, we're out of here.
Yeah, like me and my partner got to go take a shower.
I mean, they took the guy back in there to him.
Oh,
He
yeah.
was out. They took him back in there.
He was
gave
stumbling
him back
around.
To Dahmer.
Yeah, Dahmer got his pet back.
It's crazy.
That's all he wanted. He needed like a dog. Somebody that,
he
like,
should've just got a
Killed
dog.
that too.
No, he loved it. A dog would not leave you. Like, that's all he was looking for was just like a buddy. And nobody wanted to be his friend.
He
And
probably
then,
he probably would have cut the dog.
Yeah, dog.
The
I
dog.
did read that he did give a sandwich to a neighbor.
Mm-hmm.
Like not like they showed it in the show, and it wasn't that woman, but he gave it to another a lady, and I read about it, and she said she ate it. She was like, "So I've definitely eaten someone." I was like,
She's a
Why
murder
are you eating
accomplice.
a sandwich from your neighbor's house that smells like a dead person anyway?
Why
like,
did you? In all of our time together, you only made me one sandwich.
Isn't
like,
that weird?
You've been living here
not
for 3
today.
years.
I got an extra sandwich.
I don't know if I've ever eaten anything from a stranger.
Hell no.
Like,
Yeah,
somebody
but
walk up
drugs.
to you and be like,
Here's a sandwich?
Yeah, right.
No, thank you.
It must have looked great. Toasted on both sides. A little mayonnaise.
"Got some
cheese.
chips?"
Yeah.
No, there's natural crunch in there. That's brain.
Someone's
A little bone in there for you.
It's good. I finally figured it out. I've been working on this for years.
It's bad. It's bad. I had to get through it. I had to finish it.
It was good though.
I need
Like,
you
it
to
was so
finish
bad
it.
it was
Listen
good.
to if you want like a funny version of it, listen to last podcast on the left.
There's a funny version
Yeah.
of Jeffrey Dahmer.
Well, it's comedians that are talking about it, but it's
Okay.
like they do real research, but they also make some jokes along the way.
Yeah.
That's how I found out about it.
Okay.
And so that's why I'm desensitized to the whole thing, because I heard it in a different light than I want to hear from the families.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to think about it that much.
Yeah.
I don't want to actually feel anything.
I know.
It's a tough
I just want to be like, whoa, this guy's fucked up.
Well, then he got saved. He found God in the end. I didn't know that.
Yeah, but then they murdered him like a couple days after that. So.
But he got baptized and everything in prison.
Oh,
Yeah.
they took advantage of it. He went soft and they killed him.
Yeah.
Dahmer needs to keep that edge.
No, they said he would like in prison. He would like act like the food was human body parts. And
How do you
like
do that?
Because he
jokes
thought
to
he was
the
a
other
celebrity.
inmates.
People were writing him letters and sending him money and saying like, "I'm your biggest fan." Like, there's some freaking
and,
weirdos
like,
out there.
The inmate that killed him was like he hated that, so he killed him.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't want to be
barbell.
Dahmer's like roommate.
But
Well,
that
he
guy
wasn't
had
his
mental
roommate.
issues
He
too.
was like,
he was a schizophrenic.
Oh.
Yeah. So his voice in his head told him,
Yeah.
grab
he killed
that weight.
someone else at the same time. He killed Dahmer.
He said, grab that weight and kill both.
Damn,
of us."
Dahmer's about to turn a leaf too.
Yep.
He was just
cleaning the
How
weight
old
room.
would he be right now?
Oh, I don't know. I mean, what did he died like in the 90s? He started all this in the 70s, I guess.
Wow.
What a life he lived.
I mean,
70s?
I think that's when he started it.
He was born
When was he born?
1960.
Oh, yeah.
I think he killed his first victim in like 1979.
Yeah.
Damn.
78, yeah.
Yeah, that's on the first one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where he's got the kid over.
Yeah, he brings the guy back to his grandma's house.
Yeah.
Kills him like, what is grandma doing at this time? And she's just like, Jeff, it smells so bad in here. He's like, Grandma,
Go back upstairs.
Yeah.
He's like, Grandma, it's just my stuff.
They're eating whenever they're eating lunch or dinner together, and she's like, Jeff, you don't have to do this with me. And he's like, no, I like it. She's like, I don't like it. Like, go out and meet a nice girl. And she was like, oh, I don't want to meet a girl.
I don't like girls, Grandma.
Just sitting there eating dinner.
Yeah.
Does anybody? Did anybody know anyone, or did anybody go to John Mulaney, the stand-up comedian? Was in Baton Rouge.
Wait, no, I went to him in New Orleans last year, though. He was in Baton Rouge?
He was in Baton Rouge. I
When?
think he was in Baton Rouge last week.
No way.
Yes,
He's great. I saw him in New
I heard he
Orleans.
was
He's
fantastic.
hilarious.
I had two friends of mine that went and said that it was incredible how funny he was about the city of Baton Rouge.
Oh, really?
No.
Like he called Sherwood Forest out by name.
No way.
Like
How
was
does he
talking
even
about,
know?
I guess because he was just like
driving around
what's going
town.
on in Baton Rouge? What can
Yeah.
I like
Crime.
sound local about?
Yeah.
They're like, bro, they can't. I mean, they got they're just lighting everybody up everywhere they go. And he's from Chicago, which is like comparable. You know, Baton Rouge right now from a crime standpoint is comparable to like Chicago. And he was like calling out, like that Baton Rouge, like, the fact that it's always a shithole, and at least Chicago's got like nice views. He's like, we kill everybody in broad daylight too, but you know what I mean? Like, at least we got the Sears Tower.
Yeah, at least we got 4 seasons.
Yeah, right. At least we can go back and watch Michael Jordan film. Like,
y'all can't even get a
it's
punt
like,
off.
This place is a shithole, man.
It's
like talking about Sherwood Forest.
Can't build a kit. Oh my god, damn it! I'm glad I missed that.
I heard, but I mean, it was people that were in there because I mean, nothing's better than a national guy coming down and doing local comedy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And
Like,
getting it and nailing
and
it,
like nailing it.
Especially
so
somebody like
sarcastic.
him. He's such an asshole.
Oh,
like
yeah,
he's such
he's
a
great.
like quick-witted and such like sarcastic and would perfect to rip up Baton Rouge. Like I would love to hear it. Just be like,
I wish
this guy's
somebody
being a
would have
prick, but
recorded
this
it,
is
man.
funny.
It should be on the visit Baton Rouge opening YouTube.
Where was he? Like River Center?
River Center.
Yeah, I didn't
Yeah, he was
know.
at the Raising
I would've
Cane's.
gone.
He was
How
at River
fast do you
Center.
think Polian got down the sideline to switch Jack Bish? What would you give his 40 tire?
I don't know. I wish he would have fell down.
What
Why does he have so much energy? Why is he running around so much?
Because he wants you to look at it.
Yeah.
Put him in the booth.
Then he wears like a gold hat.
He's the only one with the gold hat.
And the dry fit.
Like,
Yeah, he looks. He
It's
does.
like it looks like you rolled out of bed.
where do you get off, bro?
I mean, I'm not by any means handing away fashion advice.
I am.
I mean,
pick a new fit, bro.
I don't get it, man.
I don't get it.
I don't get how you can.
Dahmer for special teams coach.
I mean, might as well. At least we'd be taking heads
Hunt,
off.
yeah. Perk, you're playing.
Right. Puts different meaning of take that guy's head off.
He put the best bodies out there. That's what he said. He said he loved the physique of these men. That's why he killed them.
He loved hairless bodies.
Yeah, he did.
We're talking about Polian or Dahmer?
I know. I was like, wait a minute.
Talking about
Dahmer.
That's awesome. I kind of thought for a minute too. Like, wait, are you talking about Polian? Did someone say that? that.
But that's what made him attracted to, like, I guess, the age
Younger
of the
boys,
people.
yeah.
And like he liked the skin tone and the hairless bodies.
Yeah.
Wow.
And so that's what drove him wild.
I was in the clear.
And
Yeah, you're
Jeff
good.
and Kenner
You
brought
would have
it
been
up.
pissed.
John Wayne Gacy was put to death the same day that Dahmer was baptized.
Oh, what a day in hell.
And there was an eclipse in the sky.
Wow.
And it was
Football
freaking weird.
god.
It didn't all happen in the same moment, but like
That
this
is
crazy eclipse,
freaky
and then
stuff.
Those
John
two
Wayne got
guys,
put to death, and then Dahmer got
They were
baptized.
locked in forever.
And John Wayne's last words, and I looked it up to make sure it was accurate too, were to everyone, even though he said he found God too and was at peace in himself, and he looked out at there and they were like, any last words? And he was like, y'all can all kiss my ass.
Wow, what a guy.
Did he paint his face? The clown killer?
It's weird. Like, how weird is that all happened at the same time?
Wow.
Dahmer probably did that on purpose.
He made a solar eclipse happen?
Yeah.
No, I mean the baptism.
What a
while
day for
Gacy's
like
dying.
programming.
Right?
If you're like the news station, like, dude, we got John Wayne Gacy's dying today.
Right.
Yes.
Dahmer's getting baptized. There's an eclipse. Like, keep it on the news.
What's the lead?
Keep the cameras rolling
Right.
today.
Oh my
So
goodness.
bizarre. So crazy.
Man,
Anyway.
hell had a
enough about
party.
that. Can we talk
you get
about
Wayne
the,
Gacy and you get Dahmer like 2 days later? We got two like Mount Rushmore guys for all hell team.
Yeah.
Can we talk about the Raiders-Chiefs games? Did y'all watch this at all?
No.
I did. I watched it last
I don't
night.
watch it unless
I mean,
Peyton and
poor
Eli's
Raiders.
Yeah, you know what? I can't get into it.
I can't get into it. The
And I
broadcast doesn't do
used
it
to
for me.
love Joe and Troy.
Yeah.
And
It's-
now I don't even listen.
It's
Yeah, but
actually,
the Mannies weren't on.
I know.
So we had
That's why I'm
to.
out.
Yeah,
Check
I'm
it
out.
out.
It was-
I still watch.
I need to see.
Not all of it.
Hey,
but
we got to call a
time out.
timeout.
We, gotta get, we would have had a field day yesterday.
what's
68
going on
times.
Are we going for two? Why are we going for two here? We're 0 for 6. We're going for two. We need to just kick it here. Let's just kick it.
And then he's like, Pay, it's all about the analytics, Pay. That's,
Yeah.
that's what we're talking
New
about.
age
right
football, Pay. That's why he ain't playing.
That was a weird game, but the flag on the roughing the passer deal. Like, what is happening with that?
Tua.
Yeah.
I mean,
Tua.
y'all. Like, what do
change it
you
up.
do?
Can't
What
do
are you
anything.
supposed to
Put
do?
a flag on him.
Yeah. They wanted
Really?
to-
Well, they
Micah
did,
Parsons
but
was
it doesn't make
pissed.
any sense.
No,
That's my
like
point.
literally put a flag on his waist and pull the flag. Don't tackle him.
Yeah.
I mean, I just don't get it.
Don't touch
like,
that
where
guy.
we're going.
Did
But-
you see Chandler Jones after the game? Is that his name? After the Chad Jones? No. Did you see Chad Jones' son?
No, but he's got to be a freak.
He's a freak.
How old?
Class of 2026, I think.
Is that 6th grade?
Yeah.
Is
He
it?
was playing like JV.
He plays for Southern
Pick
Lab,
6.
though.
Yeah, Southern
Yeah,
Lab.
Are you
He's
talking
playing
about-
JV.
We're talking about Chad
Jones.
Jones, not Chad Johnson.
No, I'm talking about Chad Jones.
Yeah, Chad Jones. His son plays
Yeah,
at
the
UI.
Terminator.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, he spawned another.
His son that was in here.
Uh huh.
He put a clip up last week catching a pick 6.
Really?
Yeah.
Mhm.
And he goes to
Southern Lab.
Number 3.
Number 3.
Wow.
Same number and everything.
We got to slim him down a little bit. Still got some baby fat, but I mean he's gonna get.
You can see it.
Yeah.
6th grade probably.
And he's still the fastest kid on the field, and he's the biggest kid on the field.
I'm sure.
It was.
I'm sure.
It's beautiful.
Offer him.
Yeah. Now.
Polian. There you go. Fix your problems. Play him more than non-plays too.
Did y'all
Can't.
see Devontae Adams push the cameraman?
I did.
I mean, that was serious.
Fine or suspension?
Suspension.
I think fine. I think both in the wrong.
He apologized.
He did apologize.
Oh.
He put out an apology on
So
I
Twitter.
think
Dahmer.
both in the wrong. He should have.
Yeah, he should have.
Yeah.
He said he immediately regretted it, but it didn't seem like it because he didn't even help him up. He immediately went into the locker room.
I mean, if anybody has ever been down on the field after a game, especially an emotional one, it's a hell of a gamble you take being someone that's not in that game and approaching someone in it. And not to say that guy approached him,
Right.
but you also have to respect their space. And I know that, look, man,
I think he was
no-
just
It felt like
walking
he was
across.
just crossing in front of him. He had a big microphone.
you gotta look and see. Here
But play the
comes
tape.
here comes Devontae
awkward.
Adams. You know what I mean? Like,
And he was
look,
pissed.
they're wrong.
Yeah.
Adams is wrong.
Yeah, he's wrong.
But
for that.
also, this stuff can easily happen. I mean, this guy is running at he's still running at 100 miles an hour. He's still running in the red. You know, what I mean, he's pissed.
Yeah.
And he just had an emotional play happen to him on the field. I
Right.
mean, he's probably catching him within 120 seconds of this guy boiling.
It was, but still.
Oh
look at
yeah,
it.
he's not
I
even
mean,
looking at him.
It's
a
yeah.
cheap shot.
It's
It was a
really
cheap shot.
15
Can
yards.
you do it
Cheap
again?
shot.
Can you play it again?
Oh.
I mean, yeah, it really. I mean,
It is, dude. But look, man.
It looks bad on Devontae Adams.
It does. It looks terrible on Devontae Adams.
It's awful.
It looks terrible on Devontae Adams. And I'm not taking up for Devontae Adams. I'm just saying.
Just such a bully.
And the Raiders guy is like,
it is
come
a
on.
bully.
There's so many good
He
memes
bullied
too
the shit out of
already
him.
about
It
it.
is a bully. God.
He's like carrying an IV.
It's a hell of a shove.
It really is two-handed, right? I mean, he stops and shoves him.
Yeah, he
I
did
mean,
that with
just-
intent.
Yeah.
You might get. I mean, that's a crime.
It looked more like a get the fuck out the way type
Yeah.
of
Yeah.
show. Like, I'm trying to get to the locker room, get the fuck out of my way.
All
Yeah,
visor team,
no doubt,
too.
man.
I'm
I'm
pissed.
telling you, I have been down on those fields after the game, and you're like, bro, get up against the wall. You know what I mean? Like, sometimes don't even make eye contact.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, especially on a pro field where, I mean,
But I mean,
you
they're
have
back
to
there by the
respect their
wall.
space, and I'm not taking up for Devontae Adams. I'm not by any means saying that Devontae Adams was in the right. But what you have to understand is that this is their workplace. This is their office, and they run at a, you know, I mean, they're running hot emotionally in these moments, immediately after the game, when people can come onto the field, when they're walking off of the field. It's just there's a lot of traffic that you're looking at saying this could go bad. You know, I mean, if somebody bumps up against somebody, I've seen some people make eye contact, what the bleep are you looking at type stuff, where you're like, oh my God, you know, like, just keep your head down. Like, just, I mean,
gonna look away.
Let's get the hell out of here.
Tidy
You know, I
box.
mean, just, it is a highly charged, highly emotional, very intense,
You're getting sick.
scary spot.
It
I'm
is,
not
but
taking
he
up for
was-
Devontae
He was
Adams.
like back there by the wall. I feel like that guy was minding his own business.
Yeah, I don't
mean,
think
like,
he wasn't even trying
Yeah.
to film Devontae.
Yeah.
He was just
in the way.
walking. Yeah, he got in the way. Get
Got
off the
in the
tracks.
way.
The train's
Wrong
coming
place,
through.
Got in the
wrong
way,
time.
dude.
I'm glad
got
he,
in
I'm
the
glad
way.
he immediately
So
put a
mean.
tweet out
Got
there
in
though
the
and
way.
Because
apologized.
Devontae seems like a good dude.
He does.
Like,
I mean,
every
I think
time
he
he-
regrets it. I really do. But I mean, he's got to. I mean, be punished for it. I guess somehow.
Yeah, well,
It was unnecessary.
Fine, though.
I think he's going to get sussied. I
Do
think it's
you?
going to be one game. You can't let that. They're going to
Make an
make an
example?
example. Yeah. Because you can't be that can't be a free for all out there. Can't just be shoving people.
No.
I mean, I wouldn't suspend him, fine him, and actually, I wouldn't fine him. I would, whatever the fine would be, I'd pay it to that guy.
Yeah.
Wait, what do you mean?
Like, if they fined him $500,000, give it to the guy that you
Would
shoved,
you
and we're
take?
all
Would
good.
you?
Yeah.
Would you take a chest shove
Yes.
into the wall from Devontae Adams for the fine?
Hell
Yeah,
yeah.
absolutely.
That wasn't a bad shove.
I'm
I mean, he
pretty-
I would
just
do
got
that.
That was a good one.
They're
Yeah.
about
But
to find him.
I would do that every
if
week.
one of them could check you, like really check you.
I'm
Like,
just
what if
picturing that
what if an
happening to
offensive
me.
lineman fired off from the waist at you and like shoved you into
Oh,
the
God.
chest,
Yeah.
and you were able to take that fine
No
and you had
pads?
to pay for the equipment?
That's cool.
You
Thank
take
you.
it?
I appreciate you.
I would rather be in that scenario where I'm not even looking. Like, just
Yeah.
I don't want to
You don't
see
know
it
it's
coming.
unexpected.
Yeah.
Yeah, just because you're kind of go limp. You just
Yeah.
No, I mean that could legit like break a chest cavity.
Oh yeah, you
Yeah,
knock
you
it.
really
You
could.
I mean, like,
fracture
if-
your
I
skull.
don't know, Jordy.
Could you imagine if Ryan Ramczyk punched you in the chest?
No, I did get punched in the chest one time by like a real dad when I was in high school. I was like, hit me as hard as you can, and he was like a fucking tough, like
Yeah.
gruff,
Meathead.
like ran the tractor kind of guy, like like lead pipe forearms. He's like, okay. Oh, I folded like a cheap suit. I just went straight. I was like, oh my God, why did you do that? He's like, you told me to.
I
was
think
like,
I'm bleeding
you just
inside
hit
my
it.
Why
You
would
hit a
you do
child.
that? That's
He's an
weird.
asshole.
Yeah, that's weird.
Scott Williams. I hope you're
I
doing
mean
okay.
the Draymond punch.
Oh, that was.
That
just-
Yeah,
see,
that-
I'd not taken that.
I mean, like,
That's sad.
did he break his jaw?
I don't know if he broke his jaw, but
That's how you get
no,
your jaw
because Jordan
broken.
Poole played in the preseason game the other night. So
I know that
but,
was so
like,
that was after the shove.
Yeah, but like Jordan Poole has to be ready to fight.
Yeah.
In that situation, like
No
you
doubt.
gotta be ready to fight.
Especially when he's rubbing up on you like
Yeah,
that,
and
like
he
he's
pushed him.
daring you to touch him.
Yeah.
You
I wonder
know?
what he told him. God.
As he's walking to him.
Yeah, I wonder
No
what
doubt,
he said.
no doubt.
If
Because
Draymond-
Jordan Poole won't look at him.
No.
You know, Poole's like, oh God.
Oh shit.
Oh shit.
Oh, shit. He's coming.
Oh,
Is he
shit.
coming? He's coming.
I mean,
Oh,
that,
is he coming, dude? He's up on you. He's up on you.
That's
close.
10 of 10 contact.
Oh, my
Like,
God.
it couldn't have been cleaner.
No.
That's the punch that you're like, oh man, if he would have hit him there,
It's
and
a
that's the
flying.
one
I
he
mean, it's
actually.
a flying punch.
Oh yeah, it's Superman punch.
Yeah.
Poole took it.
And then he caught him. Like
Do you fire the entire video staff?
I just fired the guy that leaked it.
How do you know who?
Oh, I'm sure they got
from
some
a
bottom of
phone.
it. I mean, the money's in the account.
I've only watched it once because he caught him too clean.
He catches him.
Dude.
He catches him clean and then catches him like with his hands. Like
Draymond might end up in Orlando.
I don't think
Shove
they're
him
gonna
first.
get rid of him for it though.
Oh, Coach, I think that this is
He wants to
has
be a
now
Laker.
started to write his exit plan from Golden State. I mean, that's what's happening. They're choosing between Draymond and
Jordan
Poole.
Poole, yeah, I mean, that's
and
the best
Draymond's
spot.
33 and Poole is 23.
Yeah.
Right?
Tough for that guy.
I mean, look, I'm a big Draymond fan.
Me too.
The Warriors dynasty does not happen without Draymond. It does not exist without him. I still think they win championships, but not at the level that they've won them at. And the Warriors have a tough decision to make.
Yeah.
I mean, they have a tough decision to make in the sense of he's really the face of them.
Steph
He regrets it a lot, right? Don't you feel like he's deeply is regretting doing that? I feel like
I
just
think he apologized.
He did. I mean,
It wouldn't surprise me if he did it again.
Really? I feel like
Yeah,
he
he's a
regrets it.
wild card.
No. I mean, this is a dude that was kicking dudes in the balls during games.
Got-
Multiple times.
to the point where they had to suspend him
Yeah,
from
they
the
were like,
NBA
"Dude,
Finals.
what are you doing?"
In
Like-
Game 6 of the Finals, like you can't play because you keep touching people's nuts. Like just stop doing that one thing.
Dre, you can't do that, Draymond.
He
Can't do it to
stop.
LeBron, that's for sure. He'll make sure that then Cavs going to win Game 7.
I think he's
Kyrie.
going to make this right.
But
somehow.
He's going to play. He's going to pay
I mean, I think
Brendan
that
Ortiz in the chat.
I think the decision is pretty easy from a basketball standpoint. I mean, for as good as Draymond is, and Draymond is fantastic.
Whose decision?
The Warriors.
Like they have an easy choice.
I mean, it's easy.
Pick one.
I mean,
Jordan Poole or Draymond.
10 out of 10
Yeah.
times you're going Jordan Poole.
Yeah.
Right now. I mean, 33-23 in a league that's built on young athletes that can get up and down the floor. Draymond was fantastic, but if I'm running a business and I'm running a basketball team, you know, that's who's getting the money. You know what I mean? If you want to take a pay cut, we'd love to keep you.
And Poole responded after that. Like
Why
he's been
did it
playing
happen,
lights
though?
out in the preseason.
I think that's why it happened.
What caused this?
Because
Like,
they're
what-
both up for contract. And I think
that's it? I mean,
just think
And
that
I'm
there's
sure
a lot
like,
of
Caught him triple
I mean, it's
single.
sports. Like
Yeah.
like
A lot of
shit gets said
ego.
in practice.
lot of dude, a lot
Yeah.
of macho in there. You know what I mean? A lot of talking. And Draymond is the worst at it.
yeah.
Or best.
Yeah. Depending on how you look at it.
Yeah.
You know, if you're
32.
Jordan Poole, he's the worst.
Yeah.
If you're the Lakers, he's the best.
Do you
know?
Is there an avenue for like what's the market for Draymond? I don't want him on the Pelicans. I don't.
No way.
You don't think he's just such a
You
I
add
think
him
the
to
Lakers-
person now?
Yeah, you add him to a
Oh,
team
him and Pat
that's-
Bev are gonna get along just fine.
You add him to a team that's like a fringe like championship team.
I think the
'Cause He'll
Lakers.
help him like in leadership. But other than
Lakers,
that,
maybe the Suns.
Yeah, maybe.
Is he
that's-
definitely going to
They
leave?
need a leader like Draymond.
You think he'll definitely leave?
I don't know if he'll definitely leave, but I mean, they're going to have to make a decision.
Yeah.
He's not going to get the money.
Yeah.
And if he doesn't get the money, I don't see him like staying. You know,
Man, what
like
a
taking a
dumb
hometown
decision.
deal.
Just like,
Have y'all watched the Redeem Team?
Mm-mm.
Is
on
it out
Netflix?
yet?
Coach.
Oh,
It
dude.
is.
I've heard.
What's it on?
I've heard it's unbelievable.
It's on Netflix.
Okay.
It is.
I've heard
10
it's
out of 10.
unreal.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, good.
Kobe and LeBron on the same team. with
Yeah.
A prime D Wade, prime Carmelo, Bosh.
I think Jamil was talking about that.
That
right?
team is
Mhm.
just and like LeBron made Kobe human,
Mhm.
basically.
Yeah.
And Kobe is just Kobe. Like
Killer.
he goes Kobe.
Killer. Did you hear the Pau Gasol story?
Yes.
Oh, it's
The
so-
Pau
that is the
Gasol
best
story
part of it.
Is
He's like, I'm gonna run through that motherfucker's chest.
yeah, and they show the clip, and he runs
runs
straight through his chest.
that dude's chest. And Pau Gasol telling the story is fantastic because Kobe showed up to Pau's apartment in Olympic Park the night before, and the Spaniard team was like, "Can we come over? Can we come hang with Kobe?" And
Kobe's
they were
at our
like,
house.
"Yeah, for sure."
Yeah.
Kobe was up in there like signing autographs, handing away
Yeah.
shoes, buttering them all up. You know, like Pal's like, "Yeah, it's my brother, man. I mean, that's my guy." You know. Next day, Kobe shows up to the game. First play, I know exactly what they're running. I'm running through that motherfucker's chest, and he runs.
And everybody's like,
straight.
"You ain't
Doesn't help
doing
him
that."
up. Pal fucking hits the
Steps
floor,
over him.
Steps over him. Doesn't help him up.
Acts like he didn't do anything.
Just like
Okay.
chills right now talking about it, dude. I mean, it was
Then he goes vintage Kobe in the
epic
games.
Mamba. Yeah.
Like
They needed him too, which is crazy.
I know, they had
like
to have
in
him.
the gold medal game. They had to have
him.
Kobe go
They had
berserk.
well, really on defense.
Mm-hmm.
That's where he was like, he went
a
crazy.
menace.
Like Krzyzewski telling the story about that team. I want to say that was that K's first Olympic team.
It was.
That was his first Olympic team.
He never gave that thing up.
And he said Kobe was the
alpha.
Had to, in a room full of alphas, he was the one that was motivating LeBron, D Wade. Durant was on that. The young Durant, I think, baby Durant.
Mello.
Yeah.
But I think Durant was the youngster on that team.
Durant was on the 12 team.
He definitely was on the 12 team.
Yeah, he wasn't.
He wasn't on the 08. But whoever the kid was on that team was telling stories of just seeing it at that level and for the first time, getting a true understanding of how different that pedigree of superstar really is. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think we can all easily fathom Michael Jordan, LeBron James, Tom Brady, because we see them play every other night, once a Sunday, every week. But the guys that are with them 24 hours a day. Mm-hmm. And that was the first time that LeBron, D Wade, Carmelo, Mike Krzyzewski had seen Kobe's work ethic for days on end. Yeah. They were living with him.
Yeah, that's really cool.
I think LeBron tells the story about he was I put in all my work, did all my shots, did my extra work, went to the cold tub, did my body right, was eating right. I come out, and Kobe's still in the gym.
Yeah, they told the story about how they went out because they did training camp. They do training camp every summer in Vegas. Mm-hmm. So they went to practice, did everything during the day, and then they went out. And they said they stayed out till 5 or 6 a.m. Coming in the hotel, Kobe's coming out of his room with his full practice uniform on, his bag and everything, going to the gym.
That's
at
amazing.
5:30 in the morning. And they were like, "What is he doing?" And Carmelo's like, I'm not doing this shit. But he said after that day, the whole team, it started with LeBron, Carmelo, D Wade, and then the whole team would be in there at 6 a.m. 6 a.m.
Yeah.
And then Carmelo,
because that's who they were chasing.
I wasn't going at 4.
That's who they were chasing. I mean, D Wade and LeBron were saying, "I want to be
just like
Mike."
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I want all this, and they were like, "Oh shit! I didn't know you had to do it like this."
Yeah, damn it! I can't go to the club. Carmelo would be the.
I'm gonna start next week. Is that cool? We start next week.
I can't do it today or tomorrow.
I can't do it tonight, man.
It's summertime, Coach. Come on, off season.
All right, we're moving up our extended cuts of Caskey's Clicker. Coach Kyle Caskey is here. He will dive into some of the plays from the weekend and break them down. LSU's offense, Saints defense, some specialty plays as well. They'll look all at it coming up here for Caskey's Clicker. So make sure and stay tuned here on the Jordy Culotta Show. We'll have some programming coming right at you as soon as we log off. Make sure and hit that like button, share button, comment button. You don't have to go anywhere. We need to kill the stream and restart it to get a new one.
Oh yeah, if you want to do a new one.
Yeah, so we can isolate it.
Mm-hmm.
All right, we'll be right back with the Jordy Culotta Show, driven and powered by Go Chevrolet.